Hi, welcome to Edward Box Guitar Tuition. So today's classic album inspection is Yngwie Malmsteen's Odyssey, released April the 8th of 1988, so it's 35 years old today. So where was Malmsteen at with this album? He'd charted, I think, number 44 in the US with Trilogy, so he was on an upwards curve. It's at the peak of guitar hero-dom, Satriani and Vi, getting a lot of recognition, and he decides to team up with Joe Turner. This is the first key thing of a known vocalist. Prior to this, Jeff Scott Soto and Mark Bowles weren't known quantities. Obviously, Joe Turner had been in Rainbow and was. And he got Jeff Glicksman in to produce the album, and Jeff Glicksman had been renowned for his work with Kansas, Gary Moore, and stuff like that. So, there's clearly a push from himself and the record company management to try and take things a bit further. And I think, on the most part, it succeeds. One of the problems was in 1987, Malmsteen was driving his E-Type Jag too fast and went through the windshield. He was lucky to survive, but his head injury, I think, impaired his motor skills. When it came back to recording this, which I'm guessing is in the fall of 87 or very early 88, and it comes out April, so he probably tried to go back too soon because it's very difficult to recover from a head injury. I think consequently, a lot of the solos, it's not quite as sharp, his technique, and the tone's not as great. But I think what makes up for it on this album is there's actually a kind of heaviness and power to it that's sometimes lacking on other albums. And there's a melody, a bit of AOR influence, melodic rock, instead of power metal, and that's no bad thing. And that showed in its chart placings. It made number 40 in the US, number 27 in the UK. It was gold in Sweden, 50,000 copies sold. It sold 40 plus thousand copies in Japan at the time. With the US placing, that would put it in the 200 to 300,000 mark in sales, I would say. I suspect this sold north of 500,000 copies, and things are looking up for Malmsteen, but he needed to stay with Joe Turner, and he needed to keep working with a producer, which we know he didn't. He got Goran Edman in, who's really, really good singer, but not a known quantity. So it wasn't to last. He recorded at Cherokee Studios in LA, and House of Music Studios in Austin, Texas. Maybe, The only thing I noticed with this album is it got some digital. It's got a quite a harsh top end. The drums are very harsh. Good snare sound. It's mixed by Michael Thompson and Steve Thompson and Michael Barbiero, who've done Tesla and Dokken. So again, using sort of known outside sources. But, it's got a harsh top end on the guitars, and it's not. It sounds better in some respects than Malmsteen albums before, but it's got this, this aggressive quality. It's kind of heavier than you realise, I think. And the last instrumental, second to last instrumental, Krakatoa, is almost channeling the kind of cacophony sound, really, with some really heavy, frigid, dominant riffing. Okay, actually, Bob Daisley plays bass on tracks 1, 2, 8, and 9 as well. I didn't know that. Malmsteen does the rest as usual. And yeah, let's go through the tracks. It's 50 minutes 42, so again, starting to push what you can fit on vinyl, which I had at the time. Remember, before this came out, I got 5 stars in Kerrang, so I was very excited. It sounded like Malmsteen had tried to sort of remedy some of the things that have been plaguing him. Like I said, I think he succeeded. Opening track's Rising Force, so this is an old Yngwie song going back to his 1978 demos, or certainly his 82 demos, 4 minutes 25 seconds. This is a good classic Malmsteen track. Joe Turner sings it very well. Drums by Anders Johansson, the keyboards by Jens Johansson are really good. So it's kind of all present and correct. I think the main thing you notice is the tone of his guitar is a lot harsher. It hasn't got that kind of smoothness to it. And like I said, the sort of technical aspects are a little more raggedy, but that's understandable because of what had happened. Next it goes into Hold On, which is 5:11. This is where the sort of more AOR melodic hard rock influence comes in. It's a little more commercial, nothing wrong with that. Works really well. Jolene Turner does a nice vocal, and he uses his wah-wah on this solo, and this is the first time he starts to use the wah, and this will be something that he starts to feature now. Then you got Heaven Tonight. I think this is the standout cut. It's total like pop metal. It's totally, we want to try and have a hit single. I remember the video, and he did pretty well. 4 minutes 6. It's really catchy. It's got a really, really cool riff, really cool solo. Like I say, nothing wrong with him going more commercial on this, because we'd had this sort of other darker style prior to this. You got Dreaming. This is a power ballad. Again, Malmsteen had done ballad bits on albums, And obviously the ballad, the instrumental ballad, Crying. But this is the first time he's done a power ballad and he succeeds admirably. Very Scorpions inspired, a lovely D minor chord, great vocal by Joe Turner. I mean, Joe Turner really is, the guy could sing this. Jeff Scott Soto and Mark Ball's are great singers, and obviously Jeff Scott Soto can sing a mean ballad, but this type of ballad, you need a quality to your voice, you need the power, but you need that melodic lilt to it. And like Paul, he's got that kind of Paul Rogers thing going on, Joe Turner. It's really, really good. Then you got Bite the Bullet. This is tracking to do with that. It's just a little instrumental. Malmsteen shreds, but like I say, it kind of shows up to me aspects from the injury. So I could do without that track. Then you got Right in the Dungeon, which is a kind of 6 out of 10 track for me. It's a good kind of 12/8 riffer. And that finished the original side 1. Side 2 opened with Deja Vu's 417. Again, this is a good track. There's a funky wah-wah bit in this after the solo. And then this is a precursor to really what he'll do on the Clips album when he'll do a track like Bedroom Eyes or Dragonfly on Fire and Ice, and he'll bring in some kind of, Hendrixy elements. Then the next track's Crystal Ball. It's one of my favourite tracks again, kind of going for the more commercial thing. Really suits Jolene Turner's voice. Some of Malmsteen's best playing on this at the start. It's got a lovely keyboard line, just mellow keyboard pads, and he does some great kind of blues fused stuff over the top. Shows his maturity. And the next track, Now Is the Time's very sort of pop metal, and I really like it. This is one of my favourite tracks. Kind of builds on the Crystal Ball solo. He does a lovely melodic solo on this. Kind of on the ragged edge, but in a nice way. And there's a real passion. I think it's the most passionate solo on this album. I think it's C sharp minor. So really nice. Track 10 was Fasten the Speed of Light. This was actually the first song I ever heard off this album on the Friday Rock Show. It's a good tune. It's a typical Malmsteen fast rocker, and he would kind of do more tracks like this, like Show No Mercy and Demon Driver and stuff like that. After this, so it's not a great track, but it's good. I think this doesn't suit Jolene Turner's voice quite as much, but I suppose it's kind of touching base with the kind of Spotlight Kid or Can't Happen Here, the up-tempo Rainbow songs he would have done before. Then the instrumental, the 2 instrumentals that finish. Krakatoa, I kind of like, when I listened to the album before, I was kind of enjoying it more. I always felt this was a lesser instrumental compared to, what he did before, like Far Beyond the Sun or Trilogy Suite. But it's quite interesting. Like I say, it's got this like heavy sort of Phrygian riff, which kind of reminds me of Cacophony a bit. So it's kind of touching base with that. It is heavy. There's some cool interplay on it. It's just hasn't got a memorable melody. It's kind of more riff based really than previous instrumentals. But it finishes with a lovely Memories, which is just a 1 minute 14 track. Me personally, I would have ditched Bite the Bullet and probably Krakatoa. Just stuck with the songs and just have Memories as a little refrain at the end because it's really lovely. And that would clear 6-7 minutes off the album and it'd make it kind of tighter. But it is a good record. I was watching something recently, people picking their favourite Malmsteen albums. I think it was Sea of Tranquility or something for a while back, and someone picked Trilogy first, someone picked Marching Out, and someone picked Odyssey, and I think these 3 albums would be the key ones. Okay, yeah, Odyssey, Yngwie, 35 years old today. I remember when I got this, I was in school. I was, 16, no, going on 17, so cheers.